negotiator, Senator Rob Portman of Ohio. So we will sell no wine before it's time. I know you remember that, and that's the Republicans are saying that, Rob. What's going to happen today, and what is your viewpoint on having a vote today?
Well, we're just not ready. I mean, the bill is still being negotiated, and so yeah, we're not going to uncork the wine and or the little kings, Joe. So it's going to take a little more time, and we always knew that. I mean, for the last week, we've been saying there's no way we can pull this thing together by today. Chuck Schumer is the majority leader; he can set the schedule however he wants, and he chose to have the first vote today. We've told him we're not ready, so we're going to vote no. But we will be ready by the end of this week, and we've always thought that. And we still have 4 or 5 issues we're discussing with the White House and negotiating with our Democratic colleagues. Republican colleagues are intent upon getting it done this week.
Can we go back in time, and we haven't seen you since then, I don't think, but after the bipartisan deal was announced and you were standing with President Biden, and you were right next to him, and he said, yeah, we're not doing this unless we do the other Bernie bill of $3.5 trillion or $5 trillion or $8 trillion or whatever it is. And we couldn't, we know you, but we couldn't tell for sure, but it looked like you had indigestion or something. What were you feeling? Can you tell us how you were feeling? Seriously, we're buddies. Whisper it to me. Was that it was like the rug was pulled out from under you.
Well, at that moment, everything was fine because it was 2 hours before he changed his mind and said that we were now going to have these two bills go together. Later, of course, he reversed course on that. Thank goodness, because they're totally independent. I mean, this is the infrastructure package that is built from the middle out. It's totally bipartisan. It's very responsible. It has no tax increases, as you know, but it also funds something essential, which is the infrastructure that's crumbling around America. We know that our infrastructure is in tough shape, though. We get a grade of C-, Joe, which is even a lower grade than I got in high school and college in economics, but it's clear that the American people believe that too. By the way, CNBC, which is of course a great source, has a poll indicating 87% of the American people back a bipartisan effort to fix our roads and bridges.
There probably are some Republicans wondering why. I guess you just and the bipartisan group that you have honestly believe it's the right thing for the country to do it, because it does kind of, if you were cynical, it does kind of look like you're being played. I mean, you do $1 trillion, and you know what's coming right after that. So all the things that you negotiated to try to exclude are all coming in a reconciliation bill right after that. It's almost like a Trojan horse.
That's not true, because here's what we've done. We got a $2.65 trillion infrastructure package from the White House. You recall that. And we looked at it, Republican moderates and Democrat moderates, and said, you know what, this makes no sense. So let's focus on the actual infrastructure, core infrastructure, and let's take out the biggest tax increase in American history. And that's what we did. So it went from, $1.65 trillion to a $579 billion bill over 5 years, which is what it is. No taxes at all, other pay-fors that are, tough to come by, but important. And, that's the bipartisan structure here, and it's great for America. It's an opportunity for us to figure out how to do something bipartisan. We can't do something bipartisan on infrastructure, Joe. I'm not sure what we can do, because this is something Democrats, Republicans alike support strongly.
You're putting a stamp of approval on $5 trillion extra spending, or $4 trillion in extra.
Just the opposite. So we changed the 2.65 to 579 over 5. And came up with an agreement with the Democrats that they would not double dip. In other words, whatever we put in this bill in terms of
Speaker Pelosi won't do this, Rob, unless the other one gets done first. So it's still linked, even though President Biden says it's not linked.
Well, it's not linked, not just with regard to the negotiators, but with regard to the White House and with regard to our leadership over here. It's totally unlinked. It has nothing to do with one another. They're going to go ahead with reconciliation no matter what, Joe, and they always were. And,
well, then
we understand
don't give them this, too, then.
But wait a second. Is that why this vote today, they want to be able to say that you didn't vote for it, so they had to go ahead with budget reconciliation?
Yeah, I mean, what they'd like to do is be able to say today that we're not supporting it. We are. We just want time to get it right. It's too important, for us to rush a vote here for an arbitrary deadline. So today, we're not going to be able to support moving forward. We will be able to on Monday, and I hope that's what the majority leader decides to do, is to put this vote off till Monday. If he doesn't, he'll offer the vote again on Monday, I believe. and we'll be ready to go. But this is great for America. This is good for the country. It's exactly what we need to do, not just to fix our infrastructure, but to give the economy that long-term economic growth that it needs. This is actually the opposite kind of spending. The economists who've looked at it, Doug Holtzik, and I know you know the AEI economists, have said that this is actually going to help on the supply side, not the demand side, meaning that it's actually going to be counter to the inflationary pressures that we're seeing right now. This is about long-term investments. This money is going to be spent over the next 10, 20 years for assets that are going to last for 50 or 70 years. This is about the Brent Spence Bridge, Joe, and it's about other long-term assets that desperately need help. And everybody agrees with that. So we're going to get this done, and it's going to be good for America.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.